How's it going, you guys? Welcome to the Fumble Live. We have a lot to get into today, so make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Here is the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Happy Taco Tuesday. It's Jackie Ray. You can find me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey guys, it's your girl Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. Jackie, what day is it today?
It's Taco Tuesday!
You think he's getting tacos right now in the bubble?
I hope he didn't go out to get tacos.
He already has his pre-scheduled. He's getting his tacos.
Right. He's getting his tacos. He has a taco guy.
Yes.
Right. They have a taco truck that he has quarantined inside the bubble.
Right.
That would be so dope.
I think I'll be making tacos for lunch today. That actually sounds really good. But you guys, since we're already talking about tacos in the bubble, we need to just get into this for you. So NBA players obviously have been complaining about how bad the food is in the bubble, but now we've just learned that Rashaan Holmes of the Kings was so desperate for something more delicious, he actually broke the rules of the bubble to fetch a food delivery. I thought it would be side chicks that were breaking into the bubble, but no, it's delivery drivers apparently. So the Kings forward has now been placed in another quarantine, and he has 8 days left. It's not worth it at all, in my opinion. He released a statement about the situation that said, quote, "After the initial quarantine period, I briefly and accidentally crossed the NBA campus line to pick up a food delivery. I apologize for my actions and look forward to rejoining my teammates for our playoff push." So I guess my only question from here is, how do you accidentally place a food delivery order and then go pick it up from outside the bubble lines? To me, that seems very intentional. But he's not the only one to violate the protocols that were put in place in the bubble. Bruno Caboclo of the Rockets also, quote, inadvertently broke the bubble, and he's been quarantined inside his hotel room. I don't know if he was trying to get food from a delivery driver, but I guess I wouldn't be so shocked about it. He probably placed an order on Uber Eats and wanted to go pick up some like chow mein or pizza or something. Anyway, Britt, does the fact that these guys are already breaking the bubble after being there for such a short time make you wonder if it's really going to be effective at keeping people safe?
I mean, what was my Brit's take yesterday? Like, the bubble is going to burst, you know? I literally said it in Brit's take, and then immediately after the show was when this news was released. And it's kind of like, so I feel like the bubble must be like the movie Life, where they're in that prison where it's not, they don't have an actual gate around them, but if you go past this point, you're getting shot. So I feel like the players maybe don't know where those boundaries are, and they're going across these lines of like, oh, it's just an open space, but we talked about Homeland Security and all these people have their eyes. There's probably drones above it, like people watching them all the time, and I'm sure they literally saw him just walk across the thing, and then now he gets in trouble for it. So I literally feel like maybe they need to do a field trip and just go around the whole entire bubble to make sure they know exactly where the line is crossed, because I feel like the driver probably did come up to the bubble to meet him, and he's like, oh, he put his hand over the line, and now he's in trouble for it. So I think it was something like that. I don't think he got in a car or got in an Uber himself and went to go get food somewhere, but like, it's kind of funny, but like I feel like those little moments need to happen where they need to go through the whole thing. And like, if you touch somebody on the other side of the bubble, if your girl is on this side of the bubble and you are, and you guys touch each other, then that's canceled. You're not in the bubble anymore. So I think they need to like make those clear. And I know the NBA was saying that players, if they have multiple offenses, they could actually get removed from the bubble or fined or whatever the case is. So I think in the beginning, little stuff like this is going to happen. I think both of them were not intentional. I just don't think they understood what the bubble actually meant, because I don't want to say they're slow, but it just happens.
Even shot collars. You know how they do the dogs, where the dogs put down?
No, they said in that class they weren't paying attention.
She's like,
I was imagining that around the perimeter of the bubble, they would have, security lined up to make sure that people aren't crossing over whatever, imaginary lines they put in place. But yeah, Britt, if it's the way you're describing and it's just kind of an open space where people can come in and out, then yeah, I can see why they would make the mistake of inadvertently breaking the bubble. So Jackie, the memo that the NBA released said that players who broke the bubble would have like disciplinary action taken upon them. So do you think that these guys should, feel the consequences of their actions, or should it be like a free pass and then the next time you do it, you're going to be fined or removed or suspended?
Yeah, I don't think they should be too harsh on these punishments for violating the bubble. It's a freaking bubble. The whole concept is just weird. And like I said, unless you're putting shot collars on them so they know, okay, no, I can't go any further than this. Like, I mean, what is it going to be? And who let the driver in? How'd the driver get that close to the bubble in the first place? So yeah, they haven't totally figured out the bubble. So I don't think that they should really lay their hammer down regarding the bubble. But I still think it's funny as hell. And did we see the gender of the driver? Was it a girl? Was it a side chick? Is what I want to know. Is that the illusion that they're doing? That's what I want.
Girl, they're like, hey, I'm going to request something. You pick up this request, and then we meet each other.
Yep. You now work for Uber Eats, my girl.
Oh my God. Yes, they probably would go to lengths like that just to get some time with the side chick or the main girl, whoever she might be. Now, Chris, going to you for this final question. Do you think they should increase security measures around the bubble to prevent players from inadvertently breaking the rules?
I mean, yeah, but they already got the Homeland Security situation going on, so I don't know how much more increasing they're getting without bringing on the FBI to do something about it. I don't know what else they can really do to increase the security for the bubble. We're going to talk about this a little bit more in post-up because I think I have the reason why these two were bamboozled into thinking that they can just go walk out and pick up their Postmate deliveries. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more in post-up, so I'm going to save my answer for that. But as far as security, I don't know what else they're going to do. Like, right. Unless they out there bringing out, Secret Service or something. I don't know what else they could do because the security is already pretty crazy. Something, Unless they, find an actual real dome bubble to go over all of Disney World. I don't know what else they could do.
What's weird is that's how I think about it in my head. When we talk
Me
about
too.
the bubble,
right.
Physical bubble. Right. Yeah, that's a description of how my mind tends to work. Let's get into the next story, you guys. Odell Beckham Jr. said that he actually almost retired from the NFL after suffering from that broken ankle in 2017 when he was with the Giants. He was on a roundtable talk with Cam Newton, Todd Gurley, and Victor Cruz, and he said he just wasn't enjoying the game after dealing with that injury. He said, quote, "I said this in college. I said, I fear the day that they make this game a business and not what I love. And when I saw that for the first time after breaking my ankle, I thought about not playing no more. Like, this is not really it for me because they've ruined the game of football for me a little bit." He said that the support of fans and, everybody constantly cheering him on was enough motivation for him to keep going and to continue playing. But he also opened up about mental health issues that he was facing. He said he struggled with depression and being in New York and not really liking it. It was a really candid conversation that he was having, and I guess it sort of showed the dark side of doing what you love is your job. People always say, find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. But here Odell is saying that because it was turning into a business, it wasn't enjoyable for him anymore. So, Chris, I want to go to you for this. Does this news about Odell surprise you at all?
Initially, because when I first heard it, I was just like, come on, dog, you're coming off a little soft. But then when he actually did break down how, his underlying anxiety and, like you said, facing depression, stuff like that, the fact that he's opening up and speaking on it, I applauded him for it because, initially when you're not hearing that stuff, you're thinking that he's just feeling that, I don't know what's the word, but because everybody has a preconceived notion that he's just, a soft player and, he's very sensitive and this and that. But then to, break down, the depression and the mental health issues that he's having with it. I'm glad that he was able to open up on it, and I think he's right to feel that way because it was the first time that happened for him in his career, and he's still young, playing in the NFL, so it's understandable. So no, I have nothing against it. I'm just happy that he was able to speak out and felt okay being able to speak out because that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's really huge. Jackie, what was your reaction to hearing this news?
I mean, you guys know Odell is like one of my favorite wide receivers. So I've never really considered him soft. I've always just considered him very passionate, really emotional about the game that he plays. But I know he gets a lot of scrutiny for some of his behavior. So, and to be under that limelight, I think it's easy for us because even as much as I love him, I've made, fun of him when he had the incident with the net and stuff like that. So I think it's really easy for us to sometimes just poke fun at people like, haha, and we just think, oh, they're entertainers, they're football players, whatever. It doesn't really impact them. I think sometimes we just forget that they're flat out human, and he does amazing feats. Like, he is extremely athletic, extremely talented. And if you follow him on Instagram and you see his workouts, he works on these ridiculous and outlandish catches. Like, that's his thing, So yeah. He puts his body to the test. And then so to not be able to do what he loves and still be calling soft and being scrutinized, I could see why that would play into his psyche a little bit. Kind of checked me a little bit too. Like, damn, I was probably one of those people who kind of contributed to some of that, so it definitely kind of checked me a little bit. You have to be a little bit more aware that they are still human. They are still people. But I'm very thankful that he got past that and is continuing to play. Now all we got to do is get out of Cleveland. It was coming.
I thought we were gonna make it. I didn't know, but yeah, I should have known.
Well, building off of that, so Britt, like Chris and Jackie were saying, people are constantly calling Odell soft. And when I looked at the responses on Twitter to this news, people were doing just that. They were calling him soft and for wanting to retire over a broken ankle. Do you agree, or do you feel he had a valid reason for considering leaving?
So Mike Singletary once said, in football, there are no winners, there are only survivors. And so I think it is most of the game is mental. It's not what you're doing or your athleticism or whatever. It's you mentally surviving it and dealing with the injuries and stuff that you go through, because that happens in football, and this is kind of what we're seeing, the transition, what's happening with Cam Newton right now. Like, can his mental get past his physical injuries that he's had? So with Odell, it's very interesting that he felt that way in 2017, because since then he hasn't made it to a Pro Bowl. He hasn't been as effective on the football field. And no one can say, like Jackie was saying, with his workout videos and seeing the stuff that he does, no one cannot say he's not one of the most athletic guys in the league. It's up here that has him off now because of the business mindset that his football career ended up transitioning into. You can see that there's a little love lost for the game, and every time he tries to show that emotion and that passion that has made him so successful in the past, he's getting criticized for it. So he tries to hold back on stuff now, and that's like indirectly affecting how he plays on the football field. So I think it's interesting because since that moment, he hasn't been as explosive as a player. He hasn't been to a Pro Bowl and all this kind of stuff since that time. So I think that the mental has really taken a toll on him. Obviously, I hope, this season or coming up, maybe it is Cleveland, maybe it's not. Like, I still think that they need time to work stuff out there in Cleveland. But I think wherever he needs to be to mentally get back together, I think is where he should be, because he's only 27 years old. He still has a lot of football that can be played now. So I hope he eventually gets out of his own head, because we know physically his body is 100% again, and he's doing very well physically. But I think the mental part is the problem we see with Odell right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. Well, let's move on to talk about some other football players. Patrick Mahomes is now a perfect player in Madden NFL 21. He was unveiled as one of the few 99 rated players, Chris, in this year's version of Madden. He's the only quarterback to receive that honor, making him the top rated quarterback in the game. Some people think that the ratings and rankings for the other quarterbacks aren't really accurate, though. Most people took issue with Deshaun Watson. He had an 86 rating, and he sits just below Matt Ryan and above Dak Prescott. People think he should be rated higher, so I'm going to get your thoughts on that in just a second. Deshaun joked about it by responding to his teammate Laramie Tunsil's tweet about the rating that D4 is an 86. There's no hope for me. Deshaun responded back with a laughing emoji. Kyler Murray also tweeted, so disrespectful to AR. He's ranked at number 7, 89 overall. So, Chris, I'm going to go to you on this one because you are the resident gamer here, and I saw you shaking your head before. So what do you take issue with the most about this list?
Yeah, it was definitely the Deshaun Watson thing. The Aaron Rodgers thing, I mean, I think he had to just give him the 90 or whatever. I don't care. But, like, the Deshaun Watson thing pissed me off. It's no secret that I can't stand any of the teams in my division. As anybody who actually watches NFL, they don't like the teams in their division as well. But to see Matt Ryan,
Right.
I don't care if it's a video game. You see Matt Ryan ranked ahead of Deshaun Watson? I couldn't believe what I was looking at. That was absolute ludicrous. I know people were talking about, Dak. I don't care. Dak could. I'm fine with Dak's rating. He probably could have gone up too, but just the fact, I don't know. It's so. I don't understand who does these ratings for Madden. I feel like we talk about this every single year and never gets better. You know, I was looking at Alvin Kamara's rating. He was like the lowest of the top 9. It's all kinds of craziness. Madden's rating system this year was whack. But yeah, Deshaun Watson was probably the one that really pissed me off the most out of all of them. It was just stupid. Made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Irritated.
tell us how you really feel.
Irritated. Yeah.
Britt, is there anything about this list that stands out to you? Do you take issue with anything? Are you happy to see anybody at a certain spot?
The first 3 actually got it right compared to the ESPN list because it is Mahomes and then Wilson and then Lamar Jackson, like the ESPN list should have been. I don't mind Drew Brees following that, but then I don't think Tom Brady should be at 5 either. Tom Brady had a horrible season last year, so I don't know what stats or what they were looking at with Tom Brady. Like, his speed isn't good. There's so many things that aren't good with Tom Brady to why he would even be that high. Because, I mean, to Kyler Murray's point, like, he got kind of lower on the list for his overall grade, but his speed is at 91, which was second compared to or next to Lamar Jackson. So some of the things get right, but then some of them are just so wrong. And then obviously I had a huge problem with Matt Ryan even being in the top 10 personally.
Right. On the list.
But
like, why is he on the list?
On the list. Like,
why is he on the list?
But this, I mean, and this is just the quarterback stuff. Obviously, like out of the 99, they said only half of them have even been released. But I'm sure I'm going to have a Brit's take on this later on once everybody's is released, because I had some problems with some of the people that got 99s so far, but I'm going to wait to see the rest of the 99 list. I'm going to wait to see how everybody adds up. But for quarterbacks, I already had a problem with the quarterback part, so this should be interesting. But Madden, I got a Brit's take coming for y'all. It's coming.
Get ready. Hopefully they don't censor right. Jackie, tell me your thoughts on Deshaun Watson. Is he accurately ranked in your opinion? Where do you think he belongs?
Yeah, you know, I hate lists. So I'm with Britt on this one. I think definitely the top 3 were right. And I definitely would put Deshaun Watson higher. The Matt Ryan, even on the list, kind of confused me. I would have put Tom Brady like almost at the bottom just because out of respect. But when you're talking about the talent and the able to, you know, move your feet, I don't know how I feel about Tom Brady in that respect. So he wouldn't have got that high of rating. The Aaron Rodgers one made sense to me only because he doesn't really have any weapons. But you can't take away from him as a quarterback. You just can take away the fact that he ain't got nobody to help him out over there. So, these lists are always kind of interesting to me. I think I was with Chris on this. I just looked at Matt Ryan and I was trying to play back last season in my head. And I was just like, did I miss like 10 games of the season? You know, how did this happen? So I don't know. Again, I'm with Britt on this one. I'm just going to have to see. Plus it's Madden. So the fact of the matter is I don't play Madden. So I'm like, well, maybe I just don't understand how the Madden rankings go. Cause this just seems a little like the top 3 are fine. But after that, I'm like, okay, maybe I just need to start playing Madden. Cause clearly I don't know what the hell is going on here.
Well, I think I'm wrong. I think that it's not based on stats alone, but I don't play Madden either, so I'm not entirely sure what they're considering with these rankings or how
it's definitely not stats because all the quarterbacks on there didn't even lead. The passing leader last year was Jameis Winston, to be clear.
Well, yeah, but that had like
Jameis Winston led in passing last year, so it's not that, but it's agility, it's speed, it's so many different things, it's strength. They kind of combine all of that. It's your throwing ability, like all that stuff. They kind of, depending on your position, combine together.
They say that though. They say that, but I don't even know if it really is that, because even as somebody who plays the game, you'll see some dudes with identical stats but have different ratings. As someone who sees the stat, so like even with all of that, like it doesn't make sense. Like you said perfectly, for Tom Brady to have the rating he has, but knowing that his speed and all kinds of attributes that are gonna hurt his rating and still be as high of a rating as he is, it makes absolutely no sense. So even as someone who plays, I really can't answer that question. It just doesn't. It's not consistent.
And I don't even like the Cowboys like that, but I feel like based on that, then Dak should be higher because he threw like for over 5,000 yards and 30
I even said that. I said that. I would have been 100%. I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So again, somebody needs to break down. It's like the quarterback percentage, right? Like that weird formula for that. Maybe Madden has some sort of weird formula that we don't know about.
All right, you guys.
Like 3 times during the season, so it'll change again. Right. Some people's ratings will go up, down. It'll change. That they never get it right on the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that wraps up Need to Know News. So, Chris, what's happening on Instagram, Twitter? Maybe we're even going to get some TikTok news today. I'm not sure.
Well, guys, that's right. It's time for the post up with your boy Chris, quarantine / a little bit of a bubble update. Unfortunately, no, I don't have any TikTok for you, Devin. I'm so sorry. And dang, man, also riling me up with this Madden stuff. Like, I saw that. I was so upset. And that's the thing, because I normally don't get pissed off by the initial ratings in Madden or 2K because, like Britt just said, it updates throughout the entire season. Damn near after every week for Madden, they'll update the ratings. But I don't know, just seeing Deshaun Watson so low pissed me off. And whatever. Anyways, moving on to some NBA bubble news. Not as much as yesterday, but we do have some. And we're going to be starting off with the fun guy himself. And look, I can't give him any excuses because we've joked about it here back when we were in the studio. Kawhi Leonard, he's a dying breed, okay? And I'm not talking in the fact that he's part android, just the fact that he's still one of those that has cornrows and rocks them with pride. You know what I'm saying? Not many people do that anymore. I mean, we're seeing players trying to bring them back. I saw Ben Simmons rocking cornrows right now too. But the problem with Kawhi Leonard is I feel like he is just so fine with how his cornrows are that he's okay not tightening them up very often because he doesn't really like to keep his cornrows tight too often. I feel like he did better since he's been in LA, but I remember with Toronto, I remember for damn sure his entire time with San Antonio when he was at San Diego State. Man, this dude had a fro rose is what I used to call him. And well, that being said, with the quarantine going on, a lot of people were having their reckless hairdos and people letting their hair grow out. I'm guilty of that. That's why you saw a lot of hats in these streams. But speaking of hats, Kawhi Leonard was out here rocking a hat covering his hair, but people weren't paying attention to that. People were paying attention to the fact that Kawhi dropped another laugh. To me, this laugh was it sounded normal. I felt like, okay, I think Kawhi has a normal laugh, but I'll let you guys decide. And also there was some technical difficulties with the interview. So if it sounds like Kawhi is talking his native tongue of robot, that they're having technical difficulties, so don't let that confuse you. But listen to the laugh. Here's that first video. Hey, I ain't hear that. That's like I ain't hearing that. But yeah, he had a normal laugh. It wasn't anything crazy. So I saw this, and people were over. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People were over-exaggerating on Twitter. There he goes again. He brought back the laugh. No, he didn't. He sounded like a normal laugh. Y'all need to stop trying to make things out of Kawhi Leonard. But no, just keep this image right here, Leo. All I saw was, first of all, that ugly little Timmy hat that he got on to stupid Rams, whatever. But look at that hat trying its best to keep that thing together. And we showed the pictures of Kawhi and his his lack of tight cornrows, but man, that hat is fighting. Hats are supposed to stay like with your head, but that hat, boy, let me tell you, that hat is coming out, trying his best to keep that thing in there. But Kawhi, I'm sure he's gonna get it all figured out before July 30th. But man, it is rough times for Kawhi, and I have nothing to say about the laugh. I think you laughed normal there, Kawhi. I'm not gonna tease you on that. I'm just more worried about your hair. Get your rows tightened up, my guy. Moving on to the next one. Sticking with the bubble, I'm calling these dudes that we talked about earlier, Bruno and Rashaan Holmes. I'm calling them the bubble dummies because but it's not entirely their fault. Okay. I don't know if it was sabotage or if Kelly Oubre Jr. really believed the information that he got, but Kelly Oubre Jr. might be at fault for what we talked about earlier with Rashaan Holmes and Bruno going outside of the bubble to get their food. It might be Kelly Oubre's fault because 2 days before the news came out that, well, technically the day that it happened to Rashaan Holmes, because he was already quarantined for 2 days when the news came out. Kelly Oubre dropped a tweet thinking that he was helping out his fellow NBA hoopers when he was really, in fact, send them up to be quarantined for 10 days. Kelly Oubre put out this tweet saying, "To all my NBA bros, Postmates deliver to the hotel." Like he discovered something. "You just have to go out and meet the delivery person at the hotel entrance. Security will not hold the food for you or help you. Yeah, the food whack, but we here for a bigger purpose. Hope that helps. #shh. No, it didn't help. And Rashaan Holmes is going through the consequences right now, and Bruno as well, because of your help that you were out here giving. Because immediately after that, this tweet came out from Shams, who was letting us know that plan did not work. Because as we just talked about, Rashaan Holmes crossed the campus line to pick up the delivery food, and now he's in quarantine for 10 days. Like I said, the initial tweet went up on the 11th. This tweet was updated on 13th, and he was already 2 days in the quarantine. So that means that Rashaan Holmes saw that and said, "Oh, all right, if Kelly says so, I can do that." And then, boom, he was stuck in quarantine. Now, I also want to point out that these two were teammates last year, so he probably really trusted this bro. But how pissed off would you be if this happens to you and then you go back on Twitter and then you see this? Kelly Oubre Jr., after the news came out, he tweeted out saying, wait, if I can get the tweet up, please, I need you guys to see this. He said, "Never mind, LOL." And Rashaan Holmes responded with the sign, like, "You bastard. I trusted you." Of course, he got deleted because he doesn't want to feel like he's the reason, so he deleted this tweet. But I'm so glad somebody caught this before it was taken down, because this was hilarious. But damn, Kelly Oubre, put your boy in trouble. I mean, to defend Kelly Oubre, it's not his fault because they aren't teammates anymore. He's actually competing with him to try to get in the playoffs, so it helps him out. Rashaan Holmes has been having a pretty solid season, so it might help them out that he's missing some practice. I don't know, but like I said, chalk it up for the bubble dummies, because that's what I'm calling this whole scenario right here. Now, here's another one. All right, so
he at least got to keep his food.
That's what I want to know too. We need an update on that. I hope he did too, because to go through all that way and then have him throw it away, because I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Or if he was missing something in his order, like they didn't even bring half the order.
You guys, he gives him the one. You forgot my drink.
My meal.
I ordered a slushie with this. Where's my drink? I need you to come back. Anyways, so going from the bubble dummies to this whole new entity of Carmelo Anthony. Now, I have a personal feel about this, but I want to talk about what everyone's crazy about. Now, we talk about hoodie Melo. We've talked about, no headband Melo, the time that his headband got knocked off. Maybe that was just a New York thing. I don't know. But now the new one is skinny Melo, and he has lost a lot of weight, and he is out there, trimmed down, ready to go for the continuation here in the bubble. People are losing their mind. There was also a video of him working out, looking great, looking like he's in shape. Blah, blah. Now, it's no secret, as a Knicks fan, this man ran through the Knicks. And here's the thing. He did this all the time. He went from being thick to skinny. Here's my issue. I'm glad we love calling fill in the blank Melo, hoodie Melo, skin, whatever it is. Here's my thing. What are we expecting to come from this? You think Carmelo Anthony all of a sudden just going to go and start jumping from the free throw line, dunking on people? Whether he is thick, whether he is skinny, he's still going to be jab stepping your favorite player out of their sneakers, getting the jump shot in the post, regardless. So I'm loving this. But the thing is, I'm not on board of this whole skinny Melo hype. I know I'm the Carmelo Anthony fan, but I'm not all aboard this. Congratulations. Glad you lost your weight, but I don't really think it's going to make much of a difference. But hey, that is just me throwing some rain on your parade. Carmelo Anthony, still love you though. Skinny Melo all the way. I'm with you. All right, moving on to the next one. Donovan Mitchell, the ping pong champ. People are going crazy about this, and he's going crazy about it because he posted on his IG him playing ping pong with his teammate Royce O'Neal, who they're actually really close. And he was whooping them. He was tearing them up on the ping pong table, and people were loving it. If we can actually get that video up first, Leo.
Oh God!
Don't do that, Royce. Anybody get the camera off me?
Yeah.
He's playing with his food, like, yeah, see.
Yeah. Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's going up.
What is that camera angle? Anyways, yeah, so and it goes like that, and then he tore him up the entire time and blah, 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 and everyone on social media was going crazy. Like, oh my God, Donovan Mitchell. My favorite were some people that were so hyped about this. They're like, yo, Donovan, I know you in the bubble, but when you come out, how about we put $1,000 on the table and I'll take you out, this and that. It was just all kinds of crazy responses. I thought it was hilarious. But Donovan Mitchell, of course, who better to be your own than yourself, to be your own biggest fan, because he called himself the GOAT of ping pong. He retweeted Overtime, who posted his video saying best ping pong player in the bubble with the eye emojis, and I'm sure that's going to open up some eyes from some other players. So expect a part 2 to this storyline at some point in post-up, because I'm sure there's other people that are going to be looking at this like, oh, really? Mr. Spider. We'll see what happens with that next. But yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, when I saw that too, I was pretty impressed. Go ahead, Donovan Mitchell. Got some talents. And oh boy, this one is hilarious. I don't even know why I'm gonna keep this quick because I don't really want to talk about this one because it's just so stupid. I mean, hey, everyone's entitled to your own opinion. Okay, we talked about, other people having opinions with things that might be wrong more times than are wrong, and this is no different. Okay, Damian Lillard, like all the other players that are part of the 22 teams in this bubble, they're, sitting around not doing much except for practicing and then going back to their rooms. Or like Donovan Mitchell, you're hanging out with your teammates when, with the safe amount of people in the room, obviously. But Damian Lillard had time for whatever craziness that was brought his way. And up comes Keaton. That is his name, because he had a take I don't think is right, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion, because he put out this tweet saying, people really think Damian Lillard is better than Russell Westbrook? Give me a break. Now, like I said, have your opinions. That's fine. It's wrong. It's very wrong. Nothing against Russ. Russ is great, but it's wrong. It's very wrong. I ain't gonna say little, but like I said, he had the time to at Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard saw this, and he decided to it wasn't even that much of a burst. Just simply called him a fake ass Johnny Football and said fake ass Johnny Football speaks. And if you look at the picture, he does look like Johnny Football. And this was so great. I'm always a fan of clapbacks that forces the person that is being clapbacked at to delete their tweet. And that is exactly what happened with Keaton. So Keaton has vanished off somewhere into the pits of the Twitterverse, because we do not know where he is, and that tweet is long gone. So Damian Lillard had time for that, and I don't think he was expecting Damian Lillard to respond. I don't know what the point of that tweet was. I don't know if he just has feelings. I don't know if he is a Russell Westbrook fan. I don't know. Wrong opinion. Damian Lillard had him, and by Keaton.
Got 10,000 likes though.
Yeah, Damian Lillard did. You saw Keaton didn't get so much. Keaton was getting, I think he had 48 likes. So yeah, so not many people on Keaton's side there. Moving on to Cam Newton. Now, you ladies heard some of Cam Newton before we went live. Now I want to play the video with more context so you understand what was going on behind the breathing and panting behind the scenes. But anyways, Cam Newton was feeling the type of way. He has been feeling the type of way with his ex-team, the Carolina Panthers. And as I mentioned earlier, anytime that there's any kind of shade or anything against any team in my division, I'm here for it. And now that Cam Newton is free from the Panthers, now I can sit back and enjoy Cam Newton being a football player a little bit more. And he went in talking about that the Panthers pretty much just left him out to die, and they didn't really care about him post his injury. And I think we're all in agreement with that. But Cam Newton, would you like to elaborate more how you feel about being cut?
Felt like I was just left to die.
Gross.
Just it's over with for him. He ain't the same player.
That's all you don't even. I'm about to say. Don't even say no more. Don't even say anymore. There's a whole second part to this. I don't need to play a second part. He was basically talking about how him being cut made him a better person, made him a stronger person, made a better family man, made him ready for that next step. He even told a dope part about his son coming to him saying like, "Are we going back to Carolina?" And he said, "No, son, we going north." And then he walked away. But here's the problem. Somebody pull out a map. It's how much more north is Carolina to New England? I mean, it is kind of, but anyways, I'll give it to you, Cam, regardless. But I do have a question for the panel, and I want to start with you, Britt. Do you think that he is right by saying that Cam Newton or that the Panthers really didn't give him a chance to come back from this injury and they left him out to dry? Or, now this is me playing devil's advocate, or do you think that the Panthers actually did give him enough chances, but he just kept getting hurt? So they're at that point where it's like, all right, it's time for us to move on. Which camp are you sitting on when it comes to this?
I think the Panthers as a whole were at a point where they were ready to just clean house and redo everything because Ron, like, you know what I mean? I think Ron knew he was going to leave before he actually left. So he was kind of out of it. So then he didn't care about Cam anymore. And then I just think it's like a trickle effect, but it started at the top, obviously, with the front office, and they kind of probably put out energy that they were trying to revamp. And so the coaches stopped caring and the whole camp stopped caring, and then nobody cares about Cam anymore. So I think after his first injury, they still tried to stick with him. But then after he got hurt again, when he hurt his shoulder or whatever, I think that's when they were just like kind of done with him. But after the first time, I do think they did stick with Cam at that point. Like they never tried to draft anybody to take his place or anything like that. But can I ask, why does Cam have a camera crew with him every time he works out? Is he trying to shoot like a Netflix series? Like I feel like
he has a YouTube channel.
Last Chance U. Is he doing his own version of Last Chance U? Like what is happening? What is happening?
He has a YouTube channel, Britt. He just got top-notch YouTube channel he's filming for.
It could also be that new tracking, that phone that you just literally put on a tripod and then it tracks you. He could just literally be doing it by himself.
He definitely is doing it.
It was moving around.
I mean, he could be, but either I'm saying he could do it by himself because I actually have used that. It is pretty dope. It does make you seem like you got a crew with you. It is pretty dope. But even if he has a crew, are we not happy that he has a crew? I'm happy.
Look,
I mean, yes, that's great to have a crew, but I'm just like, I don't know. And he's just so dramatic with like, oh, I got to do it in black and white.
Boy, is he. Those pauses. Right.
It's just so extra dramatic. I like it. He's shooting Last Chance U. It's very fitting because he low-key went to a Last Chance U himself. So it totally makes sense why he's doing this. I get it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm here for the athlete YouTube channels. Actually, speaking of Devin, Miss TikTok, your boy Matisse Seibel just opened up his YouTube channel. You guys should all check it out because he was filming within the bubble, and it was actually pretty cool insight to see life in the bubble. And then Tobias Harris looking like he's a little friendly with Mr. Matisse. Oh, we over here defending you with your little Bobby thing. You making us feel bad about you, but it looks like you got a new friendship with Matisse Seibel. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I'm all here for the athletes having their YouTube channels. But Cam Newton, I'm hoping to see you. Put your money where your mouth is. I'm believing in you. I think that you're in the right opportunity for that. Even though it is with that trash team. But, I'm looking forward to that. Last but not least, from one football player to another, Tyreek Hill. Now, I just want to put on the record, Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver. Yes, I know I am saying the obvious because you guys all know that Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver. But when I show you this video, I just want you to remember Tyreek Hill is a wide receiver. That's all I'm going to say. Can we run the video, please, Leo?
His eyes.
No, don't keep that there. Keep that there with the shame. Keep that there with the shame. No, don't you try to play along like, oh, you got no. You take that L and you enjoy that L because he was trying to go. That's a high schooler that just Randy Mossed him right over his head. Now, like I said, I just want y'all keep in mind he is wide receiver, but at the same time, like, goodness gracious, Leo, can we play that one more time? I need you guys to see this catch before we move on. Look at this.
That's
Leo.
perfect pause.
Get it, young boy.
I don't know if we do awards here. I don't know if the fumble. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know if we are in any running for any rewards or anything, but I'm gonna have to nominate my boy Leo for that beautiful freeze frame on the catch. That was top notch.
Right.
Good hit on that. But yeah, Tyreek Hill got schooled a little bit. He got mossed. If you guys watch Monday Night Football, you got mossed by that high school kid. I didn't get his name, but yeah, shout out to him. But yeah, Tyreek Hill, like I said, stick to being a wide receiver. You're fast, and that's what you're good at. I don't know about the defending. You was looking at him the entire time. You weren't even looking at the ball, but that's neither here nor there. But on that note, that's it for me on the post up.
On the post up.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Now, Jackie, take us into what we not gonna do. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. Okay. So this one on what we're not going to do. I'm actually proud of everybody in this segment. So yeah, this one is going to be a light and happy one, but we're going to start with a story time because, the vast majority of Black people, when we walk into the room, we unfortunately have to represent for the entire race. I personally relish the opportunity, but the fact of the matter is it's not really fair. So it is a form of racism, and it's one that Steph Curry says we need to start checking. I'm so here for it. I'm not even going to say anything else. Let's see what Steph Curry has to say himself. Can we get the video? Did I not put the video in there? Okay, maybe I didn't put the video in there. I'm pretty sure I did, but whatever. Anyway, he says that basically when Black people walk in the room that they have to, if they're called articulate, it's because that being Black is an anomaly, and if you're rich and famous and can speak well, he says that people saying that that's an anomaly, then other white people hear it, and then it trickles down, and people think that, oh, it's weird to have a Black person in the room who's about their business and who can speak well. I thought it was dope. He says we need to start checking everybody. He says it's just shifting perspectives again and holding everybody accountable, whether it's a private conversation, whether it's a tweet, whether it's a video. Do the right thing and see everybody as equal. Like I said, I'm super proud of Steph because he's that guy that everybody loves in the NBA. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful that he is calling this type of racism out because there's a reason why there's not a lot of Black people working at ESPN because we experience these type of things. We think that, maybe they just can't do it the way that someone else can. So I'm really proud of him for doing like that because it is an exhausting experience to be the one that has to represent for everybody. And when you call him on it, you can be called aggressive. So again, I'm really proud of Steph for seizing this moment and using his platform to kind of shed some light on this. All 22 teams right now are participating in the league's restart, and they have arrived in Florida, and we're seeing the Players Lounge, which looks really nice. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because, like I said, Steph is the good guy, but I think somebody else is coming to take his title because with all these teams there, we see a lot of people complaining, but not Giannis. He told ESPN, he said, quote, obviously it doesn't matter where you are in life. There's always something to complain about. There's always a problem and an issue, but I try to kind of not focus on that. My apartment in Greece when I was younger with my 4 brothers was way smaller than the suite that I have in the hotel. So I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. That is, drop the humble mic. That is not what we're seeing everybody else do. Everybody else complaining about their food, about their rooms. Giannis is like, you know what? This is way bigger than when I grew up. I think it's just so dope. And it just so speaks to Giannis, and he's trying to come for that I'm the coolest guy in the NBA title. He also went on to say, this is something special. Hopefully the pandemic never happens again, so we never are able to come back to we're never able to come back to this campus. But at the end of the day, this is part of history. So just being able to be here, participate in this, I'm just trying to be in the moment, trying to enjoy every moment, trying to enjoy basketball. So he even thinks the pandemic, even though it's bad, he's part of history. He's grateful for that. He also said, quote, he sucked in Monday practice. So he says whoever wins the championship is going to win it through a very difficult situation. And so no asterisks there. It's going to be a very hard championship for anyone to win. But I'm just so proud of him right now because he literally switched the narrative. Everyone's being super ungrateful. Everyone's forgetting that there's people in the world right now who don't live the way that they live. And he's like, no, not me. I'm very happy and blessed to be here. So if we were giving out awards, like you said, Chris, who would win the most humble player in the NBA right now award for you? Would it be Giannis, or is Steph still going to be the good guy and he's always the sweet one?
Oh, stop. Look, I see through Steph. Don't do that. I love Steph Curry. I'm a fan of him, but no, I see through that act. I see through the Steph moments. Oh, I see through all the Steph moments. I see
Steph
taking the opportunity when they're given. Oh, right, and you're so much. Anyways, but yeah, no, I'm a fan of this. I think we have another moment. We have another moment of somebody possibly hearing about some things that we said here on the Fumble through the grapevine, because I remember a certain Brit's take talking about a lot of the things that Giannis was talking against. I don't know. So maybe we should probably give some credit to somebody here on this panel. But yeah, 100%. I think Giannis has always been that kind of guy where he's been very, been very real, but also, very humble. And he's been that throughout his entire career. So yeah, for 100%, I would give it to him over Steph Curry right at this point for sure.
Yeah, we're going to revisit the whole see-through Steph thing at a later time, but
I see him. Yeah, I'm ready.
But right now, it's time for Brit's takes.
Brit's takes.
All right, guys. Well, we're keeping with the energy of me telling people what to do because they listen, clearly. Thank you, Giannis, for watching the Fumble and listening to my take there because you got it right, and now everybody loves you, so you're welcome, Giannis. So today, I'm going to be talking about a group who doesn't listen very often, but if you want a season, you better listen up. So the NCAA has been pushing back what they're going to do about college football this season. The season for college football is supposed to start on August 29th, which is literally right around the corner. Teams really need to get it going if they're going to start practicing and start whatever. Obviously, we know a lot of the Power 5 conferences have started practicing. And from that, we have seen teams that have over 30 plus players testing positive for COVID. It has been an absolute disaster since the NCAA has decided to return to football. Teams have, decided to take breaks and, everybody's going to quarantine for a couple weeks. Some teams have decided to, let's just have our players that tested positive, those people go into quarantine, but it just continues to not be successful. There has not been a campus or a school where everybody's been able to participate together like they do in a normal football thing. I don't know that video that you showed earlier with Tyreek Hill. I don't know where he was doing that at because there was a lot of kids playing football in a space. I don't know where that is, but that is not happening in college football right now. So we are still waiting for the NCAA to decide what they are going to do with the college football season. Obviously, I get why they're waiting till the last second to decide because things keep changing day by day. Like LA, if you guys don't live in LA, just shut down again yesterday. So we are now on basically lockdown again. All the indoor spaces are closed, gyms, movie theaters, restaurants inside, all of that kind of stuff. So we're basically shut down again. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to more places. But obviously on the flip side, you hear good stories like New York announcing yesterday that they went a whole day without having a single death from COVID. So we're starting to see positive changes, but then we're starting to see a lot of bad ones too. Obviously Florida and Texas and Arizona and stuff like that. We still have a long way to go. So it is very confusing on what we're going to do with football. I'm going to tell you what I believe the NCAA should do if they want to have a season. They're going to have to do a bubble. They have to do a bubble if they want the season to happen. And I know you're going to be like, Britt, how is that possible? They cannot do a bubble. There's over 130 teams in the FBS alone. Division I alone. So how are we going to able to create a bubble for college football? Well, I think schools have already and conferences have already kind of started leaning more towards that direction. I think we're going to start hearing announcements about this because and I'm just taking the Power 5 schools here to start. So out of the Power 5 conferences, the Big Ten, They became the first conference to announce that they're doing a only conference model. So basically, they are only going to be playing the other teams in their particular conference for the Big Ten. The Pac-12 announced late last week that they were actually going to be doing the exact same thing and only playing in their conference. They, even though some of them had big game stuff against, some other top schools, nationally ranked schools, they all both of those conferences decided that it's more important for us to keep our players as safe as we can and monitor this even better. So we're not going to be playing any non-conference games, which are actually a huge money loss for these teams because that's the only big game, national televised games they have during a season sometimes. Obviously, the ACC was supposed to have their first kickoff press conference coming this week, but they announced last night that they were actually going to postpone that. So I think that they're starting to think about doing other options as well. The Big 12 has said they're not going to make their decision until late July, but at least, unlike our country, at least the Big 12 decided that they are going to base their decision on what scientists tell them to do. They have hired some scientists and medical professionals to actually be the ones to make that decision for the Big 12, which I think is awesome. The SEC also announced that they're not going to be making their decision till late July. So out of these alone, like even if you start even if say that the SEC says, well, actually we're going to play non-conference games, if the other schools, which they look to be moving more towards, are pushing to only play their conference, well, the SEC is not going to have any non-conference games to play because everybody else will be playing in their conference. So how I personally see this looking is most schools are not actually, they've announced for a lot of schools they won't be having campuses or students come back on campus for fall semester. So you have a lot of space in schools open now, a lot of dorm rooms open up. And I think they're just going to have they could do it probably between a couple schools, like have 5 of your schools all on one campus, and then another 5 of your schools on another campus. And then you guys create giant bubbles like that where all the football players stay in those dorm rooms, because college campuses are literally kind of created in the sense of a bubble anyway. Classes are done online anyway. They could have in their dorm area some tutors or whatever that can help with the players. They have cafeterias in there already that most of the players do eat at. And those games would only be played on whatever 2 campuses. So the whole conference could literally go into 2 campuses, and they're traveling maybe sometimes to play on the other campus with some of the other teams. But for the most part, they're staying on the campus and just having a bubble like that. Like, I think that is the only way that this season's going to happen. Obviously, it's going to lower the season to about 8 to 9 games. Most schools only play about 8 to 9 conference games in a season anyway, so the season would be lowered. Obviously, this probably would get rid of bowl games, and we probably would get rid of the playoff system as well. But I think this is the only way that this can kind of happen. Like, I think if we try to do how we think football is going to go, where everybody's on their own campus and you're traveling, the players are traveling every week to different schools and doing all that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be a situation where, yes, we might start a football season, we might see some football games, but the season's not going to end. It's going to end way earlier than we anticipate. I think it's going to have to stop in the middle of a season or even earlier if NCAA decides to do it the way that they think we're just going to have season with fans in the stands and do all of this kind of stuff. I think it's not going to go according to plan, and they're probably going to lose more money anyway because the season's going to end a lot shorter. If they do this bubble thing, it would be 8 or 9 weeks, so it's even less than the NBA players are spending in their bubble, and you have these players in this dorm room or in these dorm buildings or whatever, and they're doing their online classes just like everybody else is on the campus at the time, and they're going to practices and coming back to their rooms. That's just going to be how it has to be if you want to play football this season, if you want to see football. Obviously, we've already seen some schools like Morehouse, they canceled their entire football season. They had not spoken to their players before they decided to do so, which negatively affected the players. The players were really sad about it. Obviously, we've heard Coach Harbaugh talk about he he wants to do this because this is what the players want to do, and he's speaking out for the players and saying the players want to play and stuff like that. So you don't want to put players in a position where they can't finish out their season, their senior year. They are going to have to wait another year or play another year for eligibility to then not make it to the NFL next year, but the following year after that. And we all know the older you get, the league doesn't last very long. If you're considered 29 in the NFL, you're considered old. So we don't want these players to lose those moments of getting to play, right? And this is the safest way to do it. There's already several leagues that have decided to do, these only conference games. So if you're playing in only conference, then you can literally put your team and put everybody in the conference into bubbles on campus. It's literally college campuses are set up like this. This is the easiest thing to do. It's not like the NBA, even so, because the NBA's teams are all over the country and they don't have a place where if you went to one team's area that has enough room for everybody like colleges do. Colleges already have this set up because colleges are not going back to school. So there's tons of free dorm rooms that are open up to players and stuff like that. Chris, my question is going to be for you on this. Seeing the trouble, obviously, we've had with the NBA bubble and, players like accidentally leaving or complaining about the food or complaining about their living conditions. Obviously, I don't think that part is going to exist in college because they already live like bums anyway half the time. Yeah. So do you think that college could actually pull off a bubble? Like, does that make sense to you? Or is it something that like you don't think could work at all?
Ooh, good question. And with everything that you just added, like, I think it's something that for sure should be talked about. I know we heard the news about the Big East and how they're just going to be playing each other. I feel like that was one of the scenarios I feel like would make sense. I think it's something that can be done. I just don't know how. I like what you detailed. I think that's definitely something that should be entertained, but I feel like just with the amount of people per school and the amount of schools and stuff like that, to me, it's still way. I can't see it making sense yet. I'm still not there for it, but I definitely think that there's going to be a way for them to try and figure that out. But as far as like if it is done, like you just said with the living situations and food and stuff like that, they might complain, but it won't be received the same way that we've been receiving the NBA because, like you said, they are all college students and they should be able to deal with that stuff without a problem because they're living on dorms on campuses regardless. So I hope so. I think it's an idea. I think it's definitely something that they should look into because it's probably the safest bet. But I'm still not completely sold on it yet. Not really on the bubble. We'll see though.
Do you see if they don't do something like that college football would obviously start a season but not be able to finish a season? Do you think that they could get through a season without doing some type of bubble, like an entire season?
Oof, I barely think the NFL would be able to get through a season. So for college, for sure, I don't think so. No, I'm barely hoping that the NFL gets through some weeks regardless. Yeah. So for college with way more teams, way more people to worry about, I honestly don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it helps though doing this only conference thing. Like I was talking about with like the Big Ten and the Big East, and obviously Pac-12 is doing that as well too. Like because now you're focusing on 10 to 15 teams.
That's the best scenario, right?
As a whole. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Chris, for your opinion on that. NCAA, I hope you're watching and listening because this is possibly going to be the only way that we can actually have a season come. But let me get to our Equal Justice Initiative for today. Now, we have actually got a lot of donations. I am so happy and thankful that all of you guys have helped to donate. For those of you guys who don't know, we have come together to kind of raise money for the Equal Justice Initiative. It's an incredible nonprofit organization that provides legal representation to prisoners who may have been wrongfully convicted of crimes, poor prisoners without effective representation, and others who might have been denied a fair trial. Now, this happened to a guy named Gregory Counts. I just want to tell you about him really quick. He was 19 years old when he and Van Dyke Perry were wrongfully arrested for a 1991 sexual assault that never even actually took place. Based on new DNA testing, this was reinvestigated, and the alleged victim admitted she actually fabricated the assault under pressure from her then boyfriend, who actually had a personal dispute with both of those men. Gregory was exonerated after spending, you guys, 26 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit, and actually that did not even happen in the first place. So if you guys want to be a part of the movement, there is a donation link below where you can send donations directly to the fund. Also, super chats go to the fund as well. If you guys want to learn more about the Equal Justice Initiative, make sure you check out their website at eji.org. This is so important. It can help people, it can save lives, it can do so many great things. So we don't have this moving forward. Obviously, we know the justice system isn't perfect, but by your donations, we can help make it a little bit more equal. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Britt. Yeah, you guys, if you want to get involved, if you want to support EJI, go ahead and send us a super chat, leave a donation. It's going straight to the organization, which means your money is going to be making a difference. Well, that wraps up the show for the day. We are going to be back again, as usual, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But before you go, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Wash those hands.
Yes.
Stay clean. Wear a mask. Stop fighting it. Get Karen.
Seriously.
And we'll see you. Bye.
Bye, guys.